I did some backwards planning with my homeschooling routine, and I cannot wait to show you how this routine is working for our family and how I came up with it. I've never done backwards planning before, but it's actually really working out this year. Hey friend, welcome to my channel. My name is Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler. Today we're going to talk about schedules, and more specifically how I came up with the schedule that I'm using this year. I had to take a completely different approach because for the first time in quite a few years, my kids are going to share some of the same subjects, meaning I'm going to be teaching the same subject to both of them. Even though they are 4 school years apart, which is a pretty large gap with one of them being in high school and one of them being in middle school. So it's kind of a weird mix, but I'm going to show you how I came up with the schedule that we're going to be using. If you haven't yet, make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe button, and down below in the description box I have links to my free Christian homeschooling group, and I have links to a bunch of different curriculum trials and things like that, so you guys can get signed up and check out different curriculum that we particularly like and use and see if it'll work for your family. So I did things a little bit different this year because, like I mentioned before, I have 2 kids, one in 7th grade, one in 11th grade. So grade 7 and 11, that's a pretty big gap there. But my 7th grader is a little bit advanced, so I can get away with teaching, a lot of the same subjects to both of them, and it's it'll be just fine. I can, as long as I have different expectations, for the different classes, but I'll go over that in a different video. So when it comes to actually making the schedule, I grouped things this year. So I basically grouped like items and then figured out which one I wanted to do first, second, and third. So let's go over 2 vocabulary words that I think are really important to have a definition for before I tell you what our homeschool schedule is. A lot of people say homeschooling schedule, but what they actually mean is homeschool routine. So I am going to be doing a routine, not a schedule, even though we're going to throw around the terms like they're interchangeable, and a lot of times they are, but technically what I'm doing is a routine. A schedule has time slots by it. For the most part. Most of the times when you see anything with a schedule, it's going to say times. So like 9 a.m. language arts, 10 a.m. math, 11 a.m. science, and so on. For a routine, you're just doing subjects in a particular order without actually having a timestamp near it. So if I say schedule, I actually mean routine. It's just this thing that I just say, and most people do the same thing without realizing it. So then now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about the 3 groups that I had of subjects that I used to create this routine. So like I mentioned before, I'm grouping like items. So I took a planner, which I'm using the Simple Plan by Mardell, and there are some blank pages in the back, and I do this every single year. I just turn to the back. I even have my little tabs here so I can just go right back to it. And I wrote out on one of the large blank line papers here, I wrote out 2 columns with all of the subjects for each child. And I just listed all of the subjects that we were going to be doing that year. So pretty easy first step. Then I figured out which classes we're going to be doing together. We are doing 3 classes together this year. We're doing poetry, literature, and Bible. And they all kind of relate in their own way, which is kind of cool. But my husband is teaching Bible and I'm teaching the other 2. So now I have one group, and that group is going to be the subjects we're teaching together. So there's group number 1. So the second group that I wrote out are easy independent subjects. There's a couple classes in this, and you'll probably see why I'm naming them easy independent. This includes vocabulary and spelling. It also includes fix-it grammar and cursive handwriting. Those are subjects my kids can do with little to no prompting from me, all on their own first thing in the morning. And I also add in there their Bible reading plan. So all those things, all 4 of those things, they can do completely by themselves. So I put that in the next group. So now I have the subjects we're doing together and then the easy independent subjects. The last group is where everything else goes. And those are the independent subjects. Now that's gonna have everything from science to history to Latin and things like that that are going to have more involvement from me or my husband during the day and might actually have one of us teaching the class. So there's my third column. So now I have three groups of subjects. I hope you're still following me. I had 3 groups of subjects, and now all I really needed to do was figure out the order that I wanted to put those in. So the way that I did it this year was I decided to just kind of go with the flow and see where things landed on the first day of school. I know that sounds really, for a type A person like myself, that sounds terrifying and absolutely like something I would never want to do. I need my routine. I need to know exactly what we're going to be doing and when we're going to be doing it. But I've learned over the years in homeschooling that sometimes it's just not that easy. And sometimes the best way to make a schedule is to let the kids figure out their own and navigate their own little way through their day and then make the schedule backwards based on that. So that's pretty much what we did. And what I found was we grouped the subjects together in those 3 groups and we were doing them in order. So the first one that I noticed we were doing were the easy independent subjects, which is actually good for me because I can get my coffee going in the morning. I can get my Bible time in and read my Bible. And I can get the dishes cleaned up from breakfast and things like that while they're still doing those easy independent subjects all on their own in here. I don't have to do anything. From there, we're doing the together subjects. So there's that first group again where it's poetry, literature, and their Generations Bible class. So those 3 subjects that we're doing together, I want those done before lunch because their other subjects are going to take so long to do, and it's going to be different lengths of time that it would be really hard to get them both to stop at the same time for me to teach a class in the middle of their other independent subjects. So I found doing the classes that we're doing together before they break off into their own subjects is actually a lot easier. So I have those done before lunchtime. And then anytime after we finish the subjects that we're doing together, then they break off and they do their own subjects. So I make my schedule based around that system this year, and we've been doing it every day, and actually it's a really, really good rhythm and routine. I really like it. And my husband decided he wanted to teach his class at the end of the day. So when they're both finished, that seems to be the best time for him. And, they're actually in the living room doing that now while I'm in here filming. So it's a really natural rhythm for us. And I found that making the schedule backwards this way actually worked a lot better this year than me trying to schedule everything and then forcing, the rhythm that I wanted or that I thought was going to work. And a lot of times, and I actually have this on my whiteboard right now, I have a list under their names. So I write 2 columns on the board and I have their names up on the board. I write a line and I have a column and all of their subjects are listed there. And they know that they have to complete each one of those tasks before they're done for the day. So that's another cool thing that you can do as well. And not everything is in order there, but I have it in the general order that we've been going in every single day, and it seems to just work out for us. So I hope that this all made sense. I probably lost so many of you, and I do sincerely apologize for that. Sometimes I'm not the best at explaining things, but I hope that this made sense to you and that maybe you're able to come up with a good schedule that will work for your family. So tell me in the comments, how do you make your homeschool schedule or routine? Do you do a schedule or do you do a routine? And what's that look like for you and your family? I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and happy homeschooling.